So this is called Out of Character. It's Damien DeVoe as he works to build a new character art team. Okay, so interesting. Very interesting. All right. Before we get started on this, I have a theory. The LA studio is going to get closed or something because Chris is leaving. They're making a new character art team. That's like the only team that's in LA that I'm aware of. Who else works in LA? What else do they do? It's just like, it's narrative. They can work from home. And LA is expensive. And character art. There's one vehicle team, yeah. Okay, maybe not. There were rumors about that because of LA. Oh, I think people just make that stuff up probably because of the costs or whatever. But it seems like Turbulent is already has more than what LA has. Already has done more than what LA has done. So it's an interesting one. I am a huge Turbulent fan because what they deliver has polish. But yeah, maybe I'm silly because the more I think about the other, once you said the vehicle team, I was like, oh yeah, never mind. It's not going to happen. But it really feels like Turbulent is building a proper studio that will rival any of the other studios in the company, which is kind of cool. So anyway, let's go ahead and watch this. And Star Citizen Live Out of Character.
And a 1. And a 2.
I hope it's good.
Oh, here's the title screen.
I'm concerned.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to a
Thank you, Chosen.
last-minute, hastily cobbled together episode of Star Citizen Live.
What was it supposed to
I'm
be?
your host, Jared Disco Lando Huckabee. And if you've never seen Star Citizen Live before, it's where we take about an hour, most times. Sometimes it's a little shorter because of meetings and stuff, out of the end of our week, and we hang out with you, the Star Citizen community.
Do you guys remember what this was supposed to be?
On Star Citizen Live, sometimes we collect questions from the community and we pose them to our developers, sticking their proverbial feet to the fire. That's not going to be what the show is today. So,
okay.
If that's what you're looking for,
yeah, they should stop doing shows about AI.
Sometimes we make a person work for an hour and we watch them and make little snide remarks and I interfere and make their work less than it was, and then they get upset with me at the end of the hour because it's like hard enough to make something in an hour without me getting in there and telling them to do a loop-de-loop in the racetrack. It's not going to be one of those shows. It's going to be the kind of show we haven't done in a long time. It's going to be a Meet the Devs. It's going to be a casual conversation with somebody that chances are you probably haven't met yet. They're relatively new to the Star Citizen family. And with that, let me click the button here and bring them up on the screen. Damien, how you doing?
I think Star Citizen Live needs to go away.
So
pretty good.
Damien, you are... Well, you tell people. I'm not going to do it. That's why we brought you on the show. Who are you? What do you do for Star Citizen?
All right. So I'm lead character artist, working mainly on PU, Star Citizen.
What's a lead character artist do?
All right. So
I'm starting to think they need to accept that this is just a format that is never going to work. They've done it before, but...
creature, one day it's going to happen. Characters for PU.
What characters
now,
have
folks who
Turbulent
have watched Star Citizen Live for a while, who followed Star Citizen for a while, may go, isn't Jeremiah Lee the lead character artist? Well, I'm sad to say we finally kicked that dude in the butt.
Nice.
Sent him packing. He's gone. He's out of here.
About time. Guy's the worst.
He went over to the Squadron 42 team. So Jeremiah has been in charge of the Squadron 42 character art team for most of this year, which left a wonderful opening for us.
So everybody moved over to it. And it's just so convenient that they randomly tell you that everybody that you thought was working on the PU is just working on Squadron 42. They have told us it was a focus, but they it's literally Luke and Elliot are the only people and Turbulent making Star Citizen.
For us to bring in our
That's it.
our new friend here. Damon, when did you start? You started back in what, March?
Yeah, that was in March. Yeah,
March.
this year.
You actually you came to the LA
Literally
studio,
three guys
your
working
very
on the
first week,
PU and
we got to meet you, didn't?
a hamster and a paperclip.
Exactly. That was the second week, and onboarding for a week in LA.
We don't get to hear this kind of story very often. So tell me what your first. Well, since you came to LA in your second week, tell me what your first 2 weeks. So you've been around. Well, you've been around the industry, and we'll talk about your history in a second here. But let's start with Star Citizen. What were your first 2 weeks like?
That was intense. That was pretty intense. That was it's an onboarding, so
They
I
did
had
800
to
employees.
meet so many people from UK, LA, Montreal. At first, and then second week we had to go to LA, meet all the tech art team, onboarding for a week. That was pretty intense, but really cool to see all the people working on this project. Pretty nice.
So they brought you into Turbulent for a week. Let you barely get to know some people, say hi. Oh, this is where my desk is and whatnot. And then they put you on a plane and sent you to LA in your second week.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
is that normal amongst your game development experience?
I mean, that was the first time. I did enjoy it.
Nothing is normal.
Going for it was in March. So living in Montreal, it's I don't know, it was probably minus 20 degrees Celsius. So going to LA for a week, having 20, 25 degrees Celsius,
Easy.
that was pretty good.
When you were in LA, we took you to one of my favorite haunts in down in Santa Monica, because I knew I was moving. It was one of my last in March. It was one of my last weeks before I moved to the Manchester here in the United Kingdom. Do you still have the tiki mug that I gave you?
Of course.
Can you produce
I
it
thought
now?
bringing
on the
it.
spot?
I thought to bring it to the studio, but I didn't. But I have both. Yeah. Still.
Well, it looks like
Oh,
you
he's
have
at the studio.
an old
Cool.
coworker in chat. Ubi_Montreal_Legion says, Jared, can you say hello to Damien from me, Patrick, a former coworker with Damien back in 2011? Do you remember Patrick?
No, I don't think he worked with this guy.
Probably. I mean, I need to see a face, but there is so many Patrick.
Harsh.
He's a community manager.
I'm so sorry.
I'm pretty sure. He pops in our chat occasionally as well.
Of course I know Patrick. Yeah, I remember now.
We
worked together.
He says he was from Wild Game Studio.
Yeah, that's it. I remember, of course.
It's okay. I have word production anomia. It's a low level aphasia that means that I can't produce the names for things very often.
Yeah.
Weird. I must have that too, because I can never do that.
Really early on this year, and it's been a challenge this entire year. Just I'm doing one of these shows. People don't see this. We'll do a little insight. This is gonna be a weird show, everybody. We said it at the front. I'm gonna say it again. This is gonna be a weird show. I have I have stick-it notes that are stuck to my monitor here with the names of people. It's because in January or February I was doing a show with John Crew, and I forgot John Crew's name, who I have done.
I have that happen to me. I could have worked with somebody for years, and I'm just like,
hey,
what's up,
so
man?
what? For 15 minutes, I didn't say his name while I was asking him questions and whatnot. So that was like, I'm gonna go to the doctor. And they're like, yeah, you. It was like 3 months of tests, but it's like, yeah, you've got this thing. I'm like, oh, at least we know what it is. Now everybody just makes fun of me for it. If you pay attention to ISC over 2022, you may have seen it a couple times where I say the wrong name for a thing, and Amanda is just throwing notes at the bottom of the screen, okay,
it's not that often.
We have to clean up for.
It's not that often.
I'm trying, everybody. So, all right. So this is a show where we're basically just going to talk about
I'm have Alzheimer's
and get to know you and how you came in, because the character team is Well, it's not mince words. The character team has a lot to do. Between several different alien races to flesh out for the Precision universe, to building the fashion styling for multiple planets across 100 potential star systems before all is said and done. So like that, it's and then just overall the weird random things that come up, like, hey, let's do weird bear mannequin helmets for Halloween this year. It's like you this team that you're building out in Turbulent really has their work cut out for them. So let's start at the beginning here. Let's roll back. How did you get involved in the game industry?
All right. So okay. So
I wonder what games he worked on.
My first experience was mainly advertisement and
okay.
Not really movies, but that was mostly advertisement. I was working in France, and then I came here, and that was like the first company called Y Game Studio, where I met Patrick. Was like a video game company, and I started as character artist at that place. And then, that was my first experience in the game industry. And then that was after a year and a half, I went to another company called CAE. That was like a military company. I was mostly not doing characters anymore, just at home mostly.
A military company.
So after a few years, I really missed doing characters. So I had the opportunity of working at Behavior as a character artist working on Dead by Daylight.
Oh, so, Dead by Daylight. Cool.
I worked for Behavior for 7 years, working like 7 years on Dead by Daylight. I was like the only character artist at first, and then was like after a few times, like we hire more and more character artists, and now they have like an army of character artists who were pretty.
Yeah, they do, because they're cranky characters out left and right. But I'm so happy you mentioned Dead by Daylight.
Didn't they used to work with?
We don't get a whole lot of chances to talk about the history of Star Citizen on this show. You know, ISC is always.
I forgot what Behavior did.
Forward for the most part. SCL is always looking.
The first
usually
landing
looking
location,
just a little bit further ahead, so we don't get a lot of chance to talk about the history. Dead by Daylight is a very popular game that's out there that's developed by a company called Behavior. Behavior was one of CIG's earliest partners in creating the earliest versions of Star Citizen. Behavior was responsible for the hangar module. Behavior was responsible for many of the first earliest assets that would eventually become parts of the persistent universe. So like this, and at Behavior, there were two people especially. A great team, but there were two people that always stood out. And remember, I just said I had word production anomia, which was I'm realizing I just set myself up for remembering a name. There's Dave Richard, and there's a gal, and I'm struggling to remember her name. Who was Dave Richards like number two? Like I never saw Dave Richard where this person wasn't with him. If you had to guess.
Number two.
Yeah.
After Dave Richard.
Yeah. Yeah.
Working on Star Citizen.
Yeah.
Specifically
at Behavior. She probably went over to Dead by Daylight too. But
okay.
Dave Richard specifically, if you've ever played Hyper Vanguard Force.
Oh shit.
Dave Richard was the one who coded and created Hyper Vanguard Force in his free time. Like there was just a day. Like
that's
there was
pretty
just
cool.
A day we were just having our weekly sync meeting with our buds at Turbulent.
Cool.
And Dave is like just giddy. He is like shaking in this meeting. And I'm like, hey, I'm sending him a message. I'm like, hey, you okay? I'm like, yeah, I'm just waiting. I just gotta wait. I gotta wait. Wait until all the work stuff, the scheduled work stuff is done. And so we get to the end of the meeting, and then he's like, hey, before everybody goes, I got something I wanted to show everybody. And he just presents this fully built, completely articulated web game, based on the old 1941 shooter style, Galaga, Space Invaders, Gladius, whatever. This Hyper Vanguard Force, complete with sprite versions of many of our ships and everything, and we're all just like, you just did this on your own? He's like, yeah, I like making games, and he's like, you use it however you want.
Easy.
And it was just like, okay. So it was a wonderful moment in Star Citizen's history, and I just always be grateful to Dave Richard and his enthusiasm for the project. He was also the one. There's an early hanger flare.
Okay.
Modern day players may go, hanger flare. Way back when we had this hanger module you could load in and just kind of stare at your ships in, but there was a bunch of flair for it. And one of the flares is this locker from another universe, where inside the locker from another universe is a bottle of Cloud CT Lando Fever syrup.
Yep.
And that was an homage to me. Christine Marsh! That was her name.
Oh, okay, Christine Marsh. Okay. Yeah,
Christine Marsh was awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Loved Christine Marsh. So yeah, Christine Marsh and Dave Richard were like the dynamic duo.
Yep, I remember the locker.
And
they had
and they're the ones who put
the alcohol
that in.
too.
Before I worked here, it was them doing that, and them reaching out and saying, "Hey, we recognize your contributions in the community thing." That made me first think maybe this was a place I wanted to work. So I mean, literally, like Dave Richard and Christine Marsh start the
I don't buy that
the
one
initial
bit.
flame that eventually gets
Jared
me
wanted to
come
work here from fucking day one.
So there's
Come on.
There's some.
I don't buy
there's
that
some
for
really
a
old Star
second.
Citizen history from like 2014, 2015. There.
Jared loved it.
Let's talk a little bit about your time at Behavior then, since I've just made this whole thing.
Maybe it made him feel like you would be a
to
good
launch a
fit,
new
though.
game, and you're the only character artist.
Yeah.
How
We
does that
started
work?
we were like 20 people at first. When I've been hired at Behavior, working on Dead by Daylight, we were like 20 people, and I was the only character artist. That was
It's a simple game, right?
I mean, tough. Okay, I'll say it. It was tough at the beginning because the timeline of creating a character was super tight, and we had a specific art direction at that time, and then we had another partner called Starbreeze at that time, and the direction changed, so we had to change the characters again. The look of the character, the direction changed at that point. So, but like slowly, the game just released, and we had the blast with Twitch and other platform, and that was really crazy. Like at that point, the game was just like we shipped the game, and then we are working on something else. But it's not what happened.
That did not happen. Yeah, Dead by Daylight exploded.
Like we created the store, we hired more people, and to help us to creating that store and creating all those different outfits. And it started there. Like after that, we were like shipping weeks after weeks and months after months, new killers, new survivors, new outfits.
That's super cool.
But it was really, really
Hey,
good experience for me. Just getting into a live game. I would like creating contents and stuff. That was really good, really, really good.
Don Steeler in the chat says, "Sure, it was tough, but it probably built character."
He's got
I
nothing.
tried, Don Steeler. I tried. Christine Marsh did not appear on ATV. Probably no. I don't think Christine Marsh appeared on ATV, not on RTV. But when we used to do those, we would occasionally do little remotes. If you like the news from around the world or whatever we called it, where we check in with the studios. She and Dave
right.
did an occasional webcam call into ATV. Way back in the day. It's hard. Coincidentally enough, as part of an internal discussion, we had somebody tally the number of videos that I have made for CIG, where I don't make anything by myself, but where I was the principal creative lead, which is what my title is now. But and it's over 1,100. So in 8 years, I made 1,100 videos just for CIG,
Wow.
and so I reserve the right to not completely remember that 100%.
Yeah,
But
that's
I'm
fair.
pretty sure I have a pretty strong memory of
Yeah, they
of
used to
Christine
bounce
and
between
Dave
each
sitting on
studio
a tandem
and talk about
webcam,
what they did
giving
each
us
week.
the news from around the world update on ATV. It's possible we recorded it and it never went out too. We also made a.
Oh, okay.
Those are just the ones that we released. There were a number of videos we did not release. Second episode of Game Commander.
Don't
We
even
did
know
a
what that
pilot
is.
for something called Verse Busters once. We tried a lot of things. No, I didn't work here during Wingman's Hangar, Kemi, so I'm not counting those. Those weren't videos I made.
What about
one more thing before we move on from Dead by Daylight, because I really
remember
enjoy
the
it.
content creator one he did?
There,
That shit flopped.
in
sadly.
recent years, they've done a lot of
Turns out we're not that
licensed
interesting.
characters. You know, Resident Evil stuff now. You know, Freddy Krueger.
Yeah.
Were you still there when all the licensed stuff started?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Citizens of the verse. Yeah.
Were there any favorite characters? You're like, oh man, I get to make a 3D version of Freddy Krueger or something
Yeah,
like
that's
that.
it. But I mean, Freddy Krueger, I did it. That was the one of the first licenses.
I read 7. No,
And
I barely play the game.
I did the Freddy Krueger. I
It's
did
not fun.
the
Not fun at the moment.
the creature from Stranger Things as well. The first one we had like the model that Netflix used.
Just go
for
to
Stranger Things.
robertspaceindustries.com
But
if you want to check anything out about the
we
game.
had like converted into a video game, so that was cool. I mean, there is some like companies that it was super easy to work with. Some others that are like so picky and annoying that was really
Dish.
painful sometimes.
We got no car in this race. Dish. No, I'm just kidding. Galactica, our social media manager, says that Pyramid Head is the best killer.
Pyramid Head, yeah, was nice, super nice to work on this guy as well. That was one of the artists that worked on this character. We had like it was super cool to work on those.
Oh yeah,
all
my
those,
title
like,
is
different
ironic.
licenses.
Yeah.
It's cool, but like we had so many the more and more licenses to work on that sometimes for like in one chapter we had like maybe 2 or 3 characters and working on different licenses, and that was painful, like all the feedbacks and stuff, and the timeline was also super tight. So having those feedbacks sometimes we're like, okay, but man, there is so many things that we need to change. It's gonna be intense, but I mean, we like it worked at the end. It worked, so
Well,
it was good.
Before we're going to move on from the behavior in the Dead by Daylight guys, but for any of you who are watching, you know how much I enjoy throwing Twitter waves at people. If you want to, if you're so inclined, look up Dave Richard on Twitter. It's deviousness Q something or other. That's Dave Richard, and if it says devious whatever, that's the right guy. And just tell him that the Disco Lando misses you. He was a really good guy. I haven't talked to him in a while. Your mic is trying to phase out of reality? Who, my mic? Your mic. His mic.
Am I?
Whose mic? Third base. Sorry, that's a really old joke. Yeah. Okay. So, from behavior, did you come straight
This
here
show
from
really
behavior? Or
does
was there
have to
someplace
go.
in between?
Yeah, exactly.
So okay. So we don't need to talk about why you left and whatever. Those things don't interest me.
This
What
show really needs to go.
drew you to Star Citizen? Like you've been in this industry for a while. For a while. You're looking for a new opportunity. And of all the choices, I mean, Montreal is.
I think the idea of learning about character artists, learning about this could be a separate thing, but something has to replace this on Fridays or some other thing or whatever, right? There should be a replacement for this, but this can continue on as people are interested in the game dev side of things, how stuff works, who the people are, right? Like, I don't think there's anything wrong with doing that, but I think what it used to be, like what SCL used to be versus what it is now. I think it's really fallen off. And yeah, I don't know. It's just yeah.
A heck of a market for looking for
Yeah.
game developer positions. I mean, it's one of the reasons why we
I don't know
partnered
what
with
they would
Turbulent,
do.
there is because the opportunities there are just tremendous.
For me, it's
you get some really
it's fallen
quality
off.
people, not like J League quality, but better. He's in South Korea right now. He's not watching me. What drew you to Star Citizen?
All right. So how it happened? Like Pierre-Luc contacted me, and
I'm sorry, who did?
all these things?
Pierre-Luc.
Okay.
I even know who
Pierre-Luc?
Pierre-Luc is.
Pierre-Luc, and Guillaume. So they contacted
Hold on, I'm
me,
fixing
and
my
then in
cam.
a week, like
I have to find my
everything
mouse.
happened.
There it is.
So I had an interview with them, and they talked about the project and what they wanted to do with the like for character on Star Citizen, and I think really the things that really helped me to decide.
I don't think this content is bad.
You
I don't think this content is bad. It's just what it used to be was more what I'm interested in, and probably what you are, Rainwalker, right? It's more design discussions. We get to ask questions about features in the game and what are your plans with them, right? That was more like it was getting down to the nitty gritty of the game and where it's going in the near future and where it's going in the long term. What are your design ideas? What kind of game are we going to be playing? Right? Like that is that's the type of stuff that really gets me excited. And this kind of stuff doesn't. And I don't know where you go because we don't like it's so obvious now. Like it's even more obvious than it ever was before. Everyone's on Squadron. They're not talking about it. There's nothing to talk about. There's no game design even happening, right? Or if there is, there's certainly not enough to cover 3 months of SCLs. So there has to be more. They have to do something else, or they have to drop it all together. Like again, I have been on the record saying I prefer the Ashes of Creation style at this point for a game like Star Citizen. They do a big update once a month. That's it. I don't think we can go down to that little, but do we really even need SCL anymore? Probably not. Could this be a bi-weekly thing? Could we do this once a month? Yeah, it's their filler arc. Sure, yeah.
Like carte blanche.
So,
you can do whatever you want, and you have.
It is what it is, but people do like this stuff. So I don't think it should go away entirely.
You can. There is so many things with Star Citizen. You said it like earlier. Like there is all the different planets, and we need to populate all those areas with location and all this stuff. And so there is so many opportunity to create like outfits, faction, creature. So that challenge really
We're talking a lot more about creatures lately, I've noticed.
Something that I was like, it's so big that I need that challenge in my life. That challenge. So yeah, and the funny things, it's like when I was working at Behavior, I think been there in 2015, something like that. So Star Citizen was still like the project that Behavior worked on at that time.
Mm-hmm.
And I was super interested about this game at that time. So I was like, oh my god, it's super sci-fi and there is so many characters.
Cool.
Like in the future, I want to work on to that game as well. And it happens. It's funny that after 7 years, that now I'm working at Turbulent, working on Star Citizen. So
yeah, it's wild.
It's a funny story, and I'm really happy to like. There is so many challenges.
Kind of small world scenario,
that
right?
We can have to. Yeah,
this guy seems cool.
Yeah, it's. You said something. It's like, yeah, come here and do whatever you want. It's
pretty much.
It is a. We hear something. I've been here for the better part of a decade now. One of the few positions in the company that talks to every single department in the company. It's Yeah, there are between Toast and I. It's a guy named Stephen Cam. We're considered the tribal knowledge people, just because we have some pretty decent memories, not for names, but pretty decent memories, and we have to talk to everybody about everything at some point. So it's just usually faster to come to one of us instead of trying to track down the person you're looking for. That phrase, you come and do whatever you want, is. Oh, I'm hearing myself twice. There you go. It's a dangerous double-edged sword with Star Citizen. It is because it is
come here and do whatever you want.
Of opportunity. It is. You're not going to get to do every single thing you want, but what it means is that anything is on the table. If you come with an idea, and you come and you bring with that idea passion and intent.
I wonder nothing gets
solid
done.
Creative vision, and also it helps to tie it in with the lore. In a lot of cases, you have a pretty good shot at getting CR or somebody to go, yeah, all right, let's do that.
Just that, yeah.
And it's one of the things I've come to really enjoy.
This is
about
hilarious,
my time here,
dude.
Is that
why are they exposing
that
themselves?
Openness to the better idea. The show seems to be Jared themed. It's my show. Backlog. Backlog says this show seems to be Jared's. I saw that.
Every SCL is Jared themed.
But
what do you mean?
Yeah, it's and I see that as a draw for a lot of people. But then the flip side of it is that when you can do anything you want and whatever, it's the challenge of prioritizing. It's the challenge of what to do first. And stuff like that. So it's
this is literally
have you found
like
that
openly saying that this is the fucking worst. Holy shit!
That's it. Like we have a lot of things to do, but in the same time there is a lot of constraint as well. It's already in the game. Constraint for the customization, constraint for all the stuff, and you need to deal with those things. So it can be sometimes frustrating, but at the same time we have like a lot of opportunities. Like we have all the different team and people that are like here to help.
Did Jared lose weight? I think he just cut his hair.
To help with the
people
with
said
the
that
vision.
last week too.
No, it's cool. I mean, he had his. There is so many frustrating, but at the same time, we are all working together on this project, and we all finding all different solutions. So it's pretty good.
So I'm going to put you on the spot here. You said the invitation that so many people get is you come in and do the thing you want. What is the thing that you want? And I want to preface this, not the thing that is on your docket right now, not the thing that you're working on or the thing that you're going to work on next. This is when you're here long enough and you've built enough cloud and you've got your team going and the schedules align and production allows. What are the things that you want to bring to Star Citizen?
That's a good question.
Like right now, I feel like there is a kind of I won't say lack of vision, but it's more like a lack of a long-term vision. And I feel like for creating like contents in general, you need that certain vision of like.
Dude, I love the Montreal guys.
In a year or 2 years.
Holy shit, they just shit on this company so bad over and over and over again. They just straight up said there's a lack of long-term vision. Thank you, because I've looked stupid for how many years, been called stupid for how many years. This guy goes there from an actual game development company who actually makes games and says, you know what, this company has a lack of long-term vision. No shit they do, because all they have to do is make fucking spaceships and sell them, and they can have as long of a vision as they want.
What we can
Holy
like,
shit.
creating in terms of like faction, new creature or whatever. So like what I'm like we planning. I'm not the only one. Like we have like a new producer, character artist.
I think Turbulent's gonna fucking make this game.
Like all together, we're kind of like
it's
building
really
that
impressive.
Process and that production. That from
it's so
the beginning
refreshing.
we know already what's gonna happen in 6 months, in a year, and slowly getting the concept 3Ds and then tech art, and like every disciplines. So what I want is really streamline all those different departments and creating that that process that super going super smooth and everything. So that's my plan in a way, that I really want, like, let's say every quarter we release like a bunch of characters, but a lot, not just like 2 or 3 characters. I want, like, maybe, I don't know, I won't say anything because I don't want to throw me in the bus, throw under the bus. But my goal is, of course, getting a bigger team, a core team here in Montreal, UK. So and yeah, and that's it. And after we're gonna have
that, like, is not the answer Jared was expecting
on every department.
Jared was asking, like,
I want the same.
What kind of creature would you want to make?
with behavior
and he just shit on the company. I fucking love it.
Streamline also this process with having like a big character team.
What do you want to do? Restructure the entire company. Exactly.
Creating
good
outfit for like the community, for the players. Helping the location probably as well. Like the location, I'm sure they need a lot of characters for the mission. So that's my plan as well, to help them. So yeah, it's a lot of things, but I'm sure it's gonna happen. I'm sure.
Was this what you guys linked to me? I love this.
Having seen some of the stuff you've already done, you got a good start. Let's take a look at what chat's saying. Chat, if you're watching live
what chat's saying at this
Twitch,
moment,
you can submit questions of your own. Just preface the question with the word "question" in capital letters surrounded by brackets.
That was amazing.
Pick it out from the rest. If you're watching on the YouTube replay, sorry, you had something better to do. I mean. Let's see. Kestrel says every single department in the company except HR. Nobody talks HR. I'll let you in on it. I'll let you in on one of my oldest internal jokes. Here, Kestrel. I have threatened to do every department in video game development. It's like for SCL, for ISC, wherever I can fit him in.
If he does HR, that's it.
Highlight and discuss and educate on every single department.
We don't need to be educated on HR.
I had a boss. I've had a couple bosses in my time here. Some you've met, some you haven't met. And I had a new boss start the week I did an hour-long show with the IT guys. You might remember in SCL where I had the IT guy from LA and the IT from Austin and the IT from Manchester and the IT from Frankfurt. And let's just say that chat wasn't super receptive to that show because they weren't learning about the hot new feature that week. And that was the my brand new boss had started that week. And so I loved the show. It was a great show. It accomplished all my goals. And I walk out of the stage and I literally walk up and I've seen my brand new boss for the very first time. He goes, "Oh, hey, Jared, how you doing?" I'm like, "Hey," he goes, "Hey, step into my office. I had a question for you." I'm like, "Oh, okay." And I step into his office. Very first conversation I've had with this guy. And he goes, Did we do a show with the IT people?" And I said, "Yep." And he goes, "Did people seem to like it?" I'm like, "Nope." And he goes, Why did we do it?" I'm like, "Because they're incredibly important. They're essential to making video games, and they never and I've done like 1,400 hours of content at this point, and they never get one anywhere else. So I spent one on them, and I'll do it again." And he was just like, "Oh, I respect that. All right, cool." And and that was that. That's my setup, Kestrel, to saying that the last threat is the last joke is that my last show will be with HR. The last video that I produced for CIG will be the exit interview with HR. We'll film it, we'll produce it, we'll share that, and we'll explore how HR in game development works. That's been my internal joke for forever. Jarnator found the video that Christine March was in. It was a 2014 CitizenCon video. So, like I said, it all goes through the same pipeline, the same process I used to make ISE is one I used to make CitizenCon stuff. It all blurs together in the thing. Let's see what else the chat has. Will we ever be able to play as alien races? We've never said anything to deny otherwise. So I want to
They
say
said
I'm
that they
using
want
that
it, but it would be a very
specific
long-term
wording.
thing.
We have never said you won't be able to. And that's all we're committing to.
It's a good way to say it.
Let's see. What are you working on right now?
All right, it's super boring right now. I'm fixing bugs.
Fixing characters
kidding.
have bugs?
Yeah, bug textures and clipping because the customization is really intense. So we are working on this like sometimes, time to time. But there is other. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I can talk about it, but let's say skip the surprise.
Type it to me in Teams. Don't type it in Zoom. Type it to me in Teams. I'll tell you if you can share it.
All right.
Let's see. Can we get a plaque up in New Babbage Hospital 4-5 for the 100 people who were in the morph stream? Talk to your community managers because I don't know what you're talking about. Let's see. What else do we got?
Was that even the first thing?
What's my favorite panel for this year's CitizenCon?
If I was if there was going to be an homage to me in Star Citizen, it wouldn't be that.
That's a hard one. I think the sleeper.
Eventually, there'll be many more than 100 people.
That it doesn't have the best
or the
visuals,
game isn't
but
finished.
It's got the most important information. Is the one on resource management. If I'm allowed to have an opinion. It's not to say the other ones.
Dude, I can't wait for the resource management one. Cannot wait.
CitizenCon this year is the 7 best stories we can put together. Right now with the state of development and the way it is right now, I think they're all really good. I'm really proud of all of them right now. But I think
more should have a plaque on the A2. True.
Make sure you pay attention to the resource management one. A lot of misconceptions. That
maybe he would be an architect in the game
how
or something.
Things work.
A company.
Like that. I think will hopefully be cleared up.
Morph architects.
Oh, you're typing anything. Let me see the
that
thing
would be sick.
Oh yeah, we've talked about that, Damien. We've talked about that before. Yeah. So what Damien was talking about, and I'll let him talk about, is the rarity system for loot, for character items and stuff, rare items, epic items, stuff like that. Not rarity in stats and stuff, but in how hard they are to find and acquire and stuff. We actually have some version of that already in with the loot system, right?
Because they don't do stats on anything.
The Halloween event coming up has loot. Loot that's considered legendary loot, and loot's like considered rare and stuff like that. Harder to find and stuff like that. So,
okay. First, I like it. We know that I like looting things. I think a little event with loot is great. If they put the Vandal mask in the loot table, I'm going to explode. If they put the Vandal mask from the Vandal mask event in the loot table, I am convinced these people have never played a video game in their entire lives and understand nothing about video games. I hope it should be. It could be named something different. It could be a slightly different color. I'm cool with it. The original Vandal mask needs to stay as exclusive as possible. It was cheesed. It was something that it's fairly easy to get. A lot of people got it at that time, but a lot of people have joined since then. These are things about video games that I love. Personally, I love. Okay, I love little events, but the thing from this event in 2022 needs to signify the things from this event in 2022, right? Now, if it's just on the loot table and it's going to disappear after a wipe, and then they never do it again, then what's the point of doing it in the first place as well? So I would assume it's a website thing, but then at the same time, oh man, I'm sure they'll talk about it at some point. It's not that. Who cares about a mask though? Where's your rare space crossbow? I mean, it's the same concept, right? The crossbow, I guess you paid for. Here, it's about each event is special because the item is exclusive to that event, and that's what makes things rare. And for collectors in games, I am absolutely a collector. That's what makes those things special, especially when you earned it. It's very, very cool. So the thing for me is that the Vandal mask is absolutely a trophy to me. And the moment if that gets put in the loot table, that literally kills that entire event. That was probably the most special and the best thing that I've ever played in this game up to date. And if they just completely don't understand that, I don't know what to do with these people. And I'm sorry, but they are so fucking blind to how video games actually work. I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do anymore. And it just lowers the confidence. But I'm already setting myself up for failure. Hopefully that's not the case. He did mention that they were working on the bear masks. My guess is those bear masks that we used to buy are going to be in the loot table and maybe different colors. I would totally be fine if because they've already done it again, the other mask that you went to Bennyhenge for, but something about the Vandal mask, it just completely, if they did that, I would be so upset. I worked so hard to get that thing.
Yeah. Let's see. Is there a particular piece of armor or clothing or whatever that you're that you're really enjoying right now? That somebody's working on, an outsourcer or something that you're excited about?
Yeah, I mean there is one.
It doesn't matter if it was cheese. The game has grown so much since then.
And I think it's gonna be it's gonna help for the gameplay wise and design and stuff. So I think this one's pretty cool. The Zeus outfits was really nice to work on as well, even though I just adjust some textures and stuff. But I mean, there is so many armor in the game. They have a cool design. So it's kind of hard to say which one is the best. Okay. Which one is
my favorite armor is the leather armor still.
Yeah.
I think that armor's sick.
Ibia8938 says, do you anticipate ever being able to change the size build of our characters beyond facial features? We've addressed this a couple times over the course of our history, Ibia. The short answer is probably not, and that comes to a question of metrics. Because we are building a first-person universe where all the insides of things have to fit in the outsides of things, and it's like this. That is already a monumental task, and having a metric for all the characters to fit is part of how we make that task manageable. If we have to continuously go back and adjust doorways and hallways and the height of drawers and retarget animations and everything because characters are different heights and stuff like that, it becomes a far greater task for what is essentially not enough return. It's goes back to that priority stuff we do. There are just so many other things that collectively I think
what's crazy is
more,
I totally disagree.
That we need more. That is just a better use of time than allowing somebody to be an inch or two higher or an inch or two wider, and all the knock-ons that have through the entire universe. So
your character is so important.
Saying never, because geez, I've been with this project long enough to know never say never. But I think we can safely say it's not in the cards at this time. Let's see. What else you got? Will you appear at CitizenCon? We tried to have Damien appear at CitizenCon. Unfortunately, we couldn't get it to work with scheduling flights and stuff like that. So we did have a presentation building for him, and I think we'll probably find a place to
that would
do
be funny. I see.
Later, or earlier in the new year, probably.
I think he needs to get his team
Citizen
together,
Con,
and then let's talk to Damien again.
Essentially,
let's get to know Damien, and then let's see what he's got his team, what he could do.
It's an entire season of ISC just dumped into one half afternoon.
Like when the characters start
there's nothing
coming,
to say that if we couldn't fit
that'd be
something in, we're always pulling stuff out of ISC and pulling stuff out of SEL to put into CitizenCon, and that's why some of you may have noticed the annual Q3 drought that affects All-Star Citizen programming every year. It's it is what it is. There's nothing to say we can't pull things the other way. Too. So we are currently talking about some of the ideas we had for CitizenCon that we weren't able to put together because of logistics or whatever, and maybe revisiting them, not having to wait another year, and looking into them in like the early parts of next year and stuff. So
cool.
Again, it's not a promise of any specific action. That is just an acknowledgement that we're having those discussions and stuff right now. Mostly we just have to get past this CitizenCon, and then we can open our brains to what we're going to do in the next 6 months.
I would
Jared's
assume
favorite
by
snack
now
is
it's
Honest Burger.
pretty well recorded, right?
That's true.
I like burgers. Nice.
Yes, I'm a burger person. Devil Ducky 611 has a question that is probably close to the hearts of many players. Hairstyles. Anything you can give us new, especially not to put too blunt a point on it, for female characters that aren't these butch military cuts that we've just taken from Squadron, and anything that shows a broader range of cultures would be much appreciated.
Yeah, I mean, I think I can say it. Like in 2 weeks, we're gonna have like a hair specialist that's gonna start at CIG for like specifically hair. So
a
that's
hair
gonna
specialist.
happen, definitely. We're gonna like concept hairstyle and stuff like that, and see like the technicality of doing those hair, because we all know that hair in games is really complicated. So but like the material, I know like one of the artists worked on hair, on the shader and stuff, and it looks really amazing. So now we need,
but we've still never really seen it.
A hair specialist that's going to work and then design all those different hairstyles. It's going to come. Like
it went to Squadron apparently. We never saw it in the PU.
That has a really lot of experience on that. Worked on so many games and like about hair and stuff. So I'm confident you're gonna be happy.
You said this person starts in 2 weeks, so we can expect delivery in like 4 weeks after that.
Yeah, I hope.
Everybody's going to Reddit.
You know how it is.
Disco says new hair in 6 weeks. Mischievous asks, any chance Jumptown will become a more permanent and frequent event? Mischievous, I'm going to get. We're talking with
character
artist from our partners in Turbulent in Montreal. I don't think he would have any insight in that. I don't have any insight either. But
I mean, I have insight. The intention was always for it to be dynamic, where the player can create it, like make it happen, right? But yeah, then Tony Z just never did his job. I guess
it's already more frequent than it used to be. So,
when was
I'm
the
on a
last
Tony
time?
Z rampage.
Jumptown?
That was it. Yeah.
When is this dude gonna do anything?
I don't remember. We have a lovely.
When is anything that he said he was gonna do gonna happen?
Of people like Tyler and Galactica and Ulf and Christian and somebody else that starts with a J, and they
my
track
left
that
monitor is
stuff so that I
flashing
don't have to.
every once in a while. It's freaking me out.
And when I ask a question, they tell me, "Wow, wow, Jake Acapella, wow." I just wanted to see if you're still watching. Just want to see if you're still here, Jake. Told you this is going to be a different kind of show. I'm in a snarky mood. Any thought about creating wear and tear on armor and clothing?
Of course,
we've had many conversations about that. I don't know where we've ended. I mean, I know it's something we absolutely want, but I don't.
Yeah.
What you got?
I think one of the the principle for us is working. He worked on this like during this summer. I think he's still working on this for the wear and tear. He developed like a new material as well, like the Player Blade V2.
So
another
you can
version.
make it look however you want, but
so,
what you're really
like,
asking is you want to hear the
probably gonna
design
come one day.
around it.
I'm not like
How
the guy
does
who's
it
doing
work?
it,
Not
so
what does it look
I
like?
can't say anything. But for sure, that's something we all want.
Yeah. So as a follow up to the hair specialist, is that going to include looking at beards or facial hairs of any kind?
Yeah, we want that too, of course. Yeah, we're gonna look into that too.
Cool.
Let's see. Scum. Oh, I thought you were calling me Scum. Scum just got their female update. Yikes. CAG, you need to check that out. Armor that is appropriate to the bodies and compliant and updated to current U.S. military specs. Well, I don't know that we'd want to use current specs. We're 940 years in the future, but the point is taken. Check out Scum, he says. Look at what they're doing. Yeah.
I don't get what was that comment all
about? I just see a bunch of facial hair and stuff like that. It's so you're building you're building a team right now. So folks, I don't know, not everybody keeps up with the monthly reports and stuff where a lot of the nitty-gritty stuff kind of gets moved. But the existing character team we had was some time ago, earlier in this year, was basically split in two, and half were sent
oh yeah, probably
sequestered, punished, imprisoned under Jeremiah Lee to work on Squadron 42, and then a portion of them stayed with the PU, but of course at half strength that needs to be built back up. That's one of the reasons we brought Damien in. So one of the jobs that you've been doing for the last 6 months is building up your character team. How's that been going?
Pretty good. Actually,
dude, I feel like the entire Star System team is going to make Squadron, and then Turbulence just going to make
one of them.
PU.
One of them is we work together.
Very okay with it.
With me on Dead by Daylight. His name is Camille. The other one is Jeremy. Jeremy was like fresh out of school, super talented, and so we have those two first. We have like Christophe, which is who is like the concept artist, senior concept artist. We worked together in the past as well on Dead by Daylight. Yes, like he's super talented as well. It's gonna help a lot on all the process and stuff. And like slowly now, I really wanted to have like that core team here in Montreal, knowing all the process, the pipeline, and get into like all the constraint, all the technicality we have for the game, and be super like knowing all those constraints, and then slowly starting hire more people. So we have another artist that is from.
So he wants to build a core group LA, and then teach that group.
Pietro,
the new guys after.
That we're working all together. Even with the
something about this just seems
we are still
better.
I mean, it's working cool. It's working super fine with all of them. So yeah, I mean, right now we are like searching. Like we just like post like a character offer last week for Montreal studio. So we'll see. Like we're receiving some applications. So, but slowly, I think for the end of the year, I would like to have like probably at least one person more. 2 would be good. Would be really cool. Cool in Montreal. And then I mean it's gonna be Christmas times and stuff. So like nobody changed at that time normally. So it's gonna start probably February, March next year. But the team will grow for sure a lot.
Oh yeah, because the exchange rate. True.
We are almost out of time, so we'll just do a couple more questions, and then we can let you.
The Canadian dollar's in really bad spot, right?
Whenever we talk to artists and stuff like that, I always like to talk about inspirations, because I think one of the best ways to build an expectation of the kind of stuff that this person will eventually deliver is by understanding a little bit more about the things that they enjoy, what they bring with them to their art. So what would you say your inspirations are?
It's a hard one.
I know it's
It's
why
a
I asked.
hard
It's going
one.
to fill up at least 5 minutes. I figure. So I'm just going to click here and leave you there, and I'm gonna
Silence.
take off and let you this. Okay, what are Damien's inspirations? And go. I'll be right back.
There was a time where they were equal. Around 2008,
Oh my
2009,
god.
remember?
Okay, I don't know, man. There is so many things that can be used for inspiration. Movies, video games. I don't know. There is so many. I don't have like a specific one. I think there is a lot of things that we can take from a lot of art, a lot of like mediums. So hard to say. Really hard to say.
He's so simple. I love this guy.
And,
Jared
back
wants
end.
all this content, and he's like,
Keep going.
yeah, see you.
So fine. Then last question, and we'll wrap up for the day. Jeremiah Lee was our previous lead character artist, the PU. He was a concept artist. He just draws little 2D stuff on paper. You're the new lead character artist, and you're a 3D artist. You sculpt and create in a dream world.
yeah, way
magic.
better, way better.
What other ways are you better than Jeremiah Lee?
How it can be better than Jeremiah? It's so awesome. I don't know. Okay, I sculpt, but other things.
I could sculpt all the
Hobbies,
things.
I don't know. I did taekwondo.
Jeremiah's on
You do
Squadron
Taekwondo?
42.
Oh, he does.
Yeah.
He's doing.
Yeah, I did that.
Is he doing Taekwondo? He's doing some martial arts now. Yeah, I don't remember.
Jeremiah too?
Yeah, I don't remember which one.
I think they should
All right.
fight to the death
So,
then.
folks, that's it. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for hanging out with us for the last 50 some odd minutes. If you haven't kept up with things, we are in our CitizenCon corridor. We no ifs, ands, or buts about it. No hiding behind trees. If you follow the project for any period of time,
Here's the thing. Nothing about CitizenCon appears to be in 3.18. Just saying. So there's nothing to hide yet. They're talking about how they have no content. It's kind of weird.
Quarter 3 is a shaky and interesting period for our video content. There's only ever so many stories to tell at any given time. Only so many things that are ready
But
to show.
The issue is they've had patch 317 for 6 months. What are we supposed to do?
Take an entire season
I don't blame
of
Jared. This
stories
is
and dump
brutal.
them in a single afternoon, which we do at CitizenCon every single year. Those stories come from someone. So I hope you've enjoyed the content this year. This quarter. We are coming back with our last ISC before CitizenCon next week.
Okay.
It's a special episode. We are doing a new kind of follow-up show where we are going to retouch on all the major features of this quarter and show you how they've changed since we first covered them in ISC and answer the most pressing questions that you guys had in the comments after each segment. So it's a look back at all the features that are in 3.18 and answering a whole bunch of questions that
all
you
the
guys
features
had
in
about those
3.18.
features, such
So
as
cargo refactor's
what
still
happens when
possibly
you
on the
shoot your
table.
hull scrapers at a living ship, and where do the PTVs and the arena racetrack come, and what do I want to salvage if I don't want to be in combat, and all kinds of neat new stuff. So check that out next week on ISC. Remember that 3.18 is now not only this quarter's patch, but it is also the IAE patch. So it is not arriving until somewhere around the beginning of November. That means when ISC comes back from hiatus,
It has
we
to
will
be at
still
least mid-November.
in our 3.18 window. So that's when you can expect us to talk about a cargo refactor and the remaining features that are in 3.18. Basically, it was the choice between do it next week and show you this much of it, or do it when we come back and show you this much, and we opted to show you more. So we'll be back from hiatus.
Oh
with
my
that.
God, they're going to show it
And
after
then,
the break.
of course, remember to tune in right back here on Twitch on October 8th at 8 a.m. Pacific, 3 p.m. UTC for our Digital CitizenCon 2952. We've got a whole host of new presentations and everything to show. A planetary pyro, which is just what you think it is, and a little bit more.
I'm actually looking forward to this.
A look at a brand new type of, a whole new form of mission that is coming to the PU that eschews violence and combat for deductive reasoning and hunting clues and stuff like that with investigations. We got the newest info from the flight experience team. They've been sequestered in the Squadron 42 branch, and they are coming out from their work on Squadron 42 to give you all some news that I think you're very much going to want to hear.
Want to hear. I don't know if we'll be excited about it.
Which,
we'll see.
For my money, it's basically the answer to how everything from space stations to player homesteadings to eventually those big capitalist ships that I know you all want to play around. This is the answer to make all of those things possible. So check
Very
it out.
cool.
And a couple of neat little things in between. I'm not spilling any tea. This is what's on the thing. Why'd you start a raid? You're starting a raid. I'm not done yet. Well, apparently we got a raid. All right, you got a raid, Anna. Bye. I was not done. They started the raid. Fine. I was going to tell you the big secret, but now it's gone. He started the raid. Oh, now you unrated. Okay. Well, what was I going to say? Now I don't remember. Sorry, everybody. I was on a roll. I was about to reveal the big secrets, and then I saw Jake had triggered the raid, and I got distracted, and I thought I didn't have time. Now I don't remember what I was going to say.
Got him. That's a good one. Just do the raid again.
Oh, well. Oh. I remember. Take care, everybody. Bye.
Bye.
That wasn't as bad as I thought it would be, but it was a typical thing. I like this guy. I think it shows that Turbulent is possibly going to save this game. I think it's all we got left. But it's also interesting to see that, like, you had a Jay Lee who's a lead. What happens when Squadron 42 comes out? Who is the lead then? Is it this guy? Is it Jay Lee? How are they going to handle that? It sounds like everybody working on Squadron may stay on Squadron, and then all these new people are getting everything done. Relying on Canadians is dangerous. I mean, you're Canadian, so why? I don't know. Canadians seem like pretty cool people. In the end, these guys are the only guys who've delivered any polish, so this is I'm interested. This is interesting. There was definitely a little kind of like Easter egg there of maybe all these guys stay on Squadron. You know, it's kind of crazy. But all right, guys, that was SCL.